back. This is By the Book, and we're your married relationship coaches. We are on a roll today doing some sidebar conversations about Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 7.
Yes.
What my husband and I have been doing is having like what I call sidebar conversations about little minute points based upon what the couples are experiencing. So we like to talk to you guys globally about everything that the couple is experiencing in a particular episode. But every now and then we have like these little minute points that stick out with us and cause long conversations. And so we take it to you, the audience, to help us settle some things.
Yeah.
And with that, we're talking about Nate and Stacia.
Yes.
And their income disparity.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And what effects that might have on the relationship dynamic.
All right. Yeah. We're talking about Stacia, who earns $450,000 a year, versus Nate, Mr. Scottie Pippen himself, who earns $150,000.
Do y'all think he looks like Scottie Pippen? My husband said that in the first episode, and I can't unsee it. I can't. He definitely looks like Scottie to me too.
Look like he about to.
But he's like a smooth Scottie, you know, like.
I don't know about all that, but I am looking for him to make a few jump shots. But he does look like Scottie for real.
All right.
But anyway, he makes $150,000 a year. So she out-earns him considerably. Mm-hmm. And so let's talk about how it's from a man's standpoint, you know, is it all right for his woman, for his wife to out-earn him, especially by such a great margin? And we want to talk about if it is all right, how does a man cope? You know, with that type of dynamic.
How does a woman cope with it?
Oh, yeah. How does
Honestly,
a woman
because
cope
a lot of women want their spouse or their significant other to earn more than them.
Yes.
And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know all the answers to that, because that is such a big income disparity. I think first and foremost, in this current climate, and particularly in the Black or the African American culture, mm-hmm. you see the women within that culture out-educating their male counterparts.
Very true.
And so there is a great likelihood that a great many number of them will out-earn their partner. Mm-hmm. It just is like that. So with that said, I think we all have to kind of think and re-envision what that dynamic looks like in the household when it's not the way that our grandparents and maybe even our parents were set up.
Yes.
And is that damaging to the ego? Is it damaging to the gender dynamic in the household? What impact does it have on decision making mm-hmm. within the household? Because I think one of the things that I'm seeing early on with Stacia and Nate, and I don't know if it's because of the financial issue, but it could be, mm-hmm. is that she's laying all the ground rules.
Yes.
Like whatever's happening in that household is happening on her terms.
True.
How clean it's going to be, the position of the toilet seat, whether or not they take their shoes off, and whether or not she gets a $700 cappuccino maker.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't get to say no, and that's tough, right?
It is.
Like, he can't tell her, we're not getting a $700 cappuccino maker.
Yes.
Why? Because then she can turn around and say, I earn $400,000. I can get whatever doggone cappuccino maker I want. I'll start a cappuccino making machine factory up in here if I want to.
Yeah.
So
True.
It's hard. I mean, she has to be able to maintain respect for his position in the household. Absolutely. And maybe that looks like a 50-50 shared partnership split. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that she has to defer to him, but he has to be included in the conversation.
Very true. Very true. Here it is. I'm very well familiar with more used or more natural, whatever you want to call it, gender roles mm-hmm. that we kind of like have formed over 100 years, 1,000 years, or whatever, where the man out-earns the woman. And the man is the sole provider of that home mm-hmm. and things of that sort. So I'm very well understanding that.
Yeah.
And most men kind of understand that as well.
They understand it, but they haven't seen it. That's the weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Like they have this concept and this theory in their head, but most households don't function that way.
No.
So, like, first of all, why is that mentality so ingrained in men? Is it because they're trying to get women to be submissive and they think, like, that's the mentality or that's the structure dynamic that you have to have in the household?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think on a man's standpoint, I think a man thinks that this respect thing or submissive thing means that he is dominant over his wife or his woman. And I think that couldn't be farther from the truth. I'm a Bible guy. And so when I look at Genesis, I know that the rib came out of the man. And so God made the woman from that rib of Adam. And where is the rib? Is at his side. And so it's not in front, it is not in back. And so she is an equal contributor to that relationship and to that marriage. And so a man will try to express dominance over her, especially if he's out earning her by a great margin, or she's not earning her own financial house or whatever. So a man will try to express that and be dominant over her.
So what does he do to get his mind right, wrapped around the fact that she earns more than twice what I make? How do we function in our household when that's the case?
Well, I think it's almost the same mentality problem. I think sometimes a woman, when she's out earning, she feels she doesn't have to go to the husband for anything because, she's expressing dominance over him now. So the roles have now been flipped. And so I say to the woman, just like I would say to the man, you're equals in this. Let's have let's express one another through communication and compromise. And with those two things, you can figure it out. But you definitely have to look at it that she's not lower than me and he's not lower than her. And so when they come together and they be like, we're on equal playing field. I don't care if he only earned $1, for in a year's time. That's her husband. They chose each other at the altar. But they're on equal ground.
Let me know what you think about it, and you guys let us know what you think about it too. I think the challenge comes in because when women were not earning, back in our grandparents' era or whatever, and probably great grandparents for me, when my grandma worked, but like if the man is earning everything, then the woman is doing something, right? She's contributing in some way. She's picking up the slack in the household,
taking care
whether
of
it's
children.
whether it's child rearing or cooking, cleaning. The house is taken care of. The man works. He brings home the money. She probably shops for the groceries. All of that stuff is handled, and so there creates a balance. Now, whether one wants to treat those more domestic chores as if they're as important as, the financial end of things, that could be a challenge too. But there is at least some sort of balance. I think there has to be a balance struck when there's a financial divide like that within the household so that she doesn't feel leaned on. Because if every time we have to go, they've got enough money so that they can take long trips and excursions out of the country and, things like that's no problem. But if he doesn't have quite what she has, or even close to what she has, rather, and it's on her dime, last time we went to Egypt, I had to pay for everything, type of thing, he's going to feel like a drag on her. So what does he bring? He has to bring something else, and it has to be intangible. And I think that's one of the things that's a challenge for men because they're so focused on money. Like, this is what I have. I have money. I can give you this. I can give you that. And when that's not what they bring to the table, now they don't know what to do. Now, like, what you expect me to cook and clean, and then they feel like emasculated.
So what are some of those things? And I know this video is going a little bit longer than what we anticipated. But what are some of those things that a man can bring to the table when he's being out-earned by his woman, by his wife? And again, this has become very normal, I think, in the Black community. So what can he bring?
I don't know. It might be domestic. I mean, when you break down like what has to be done in a household, it kind of gets broken down into income and domestic chores, right? I could be missing something. If y'all can think of something that's like should be like flashing in my face and I should know about it, let me know in the comments, because that's pretty much how it goes. So if I'm earning way more than you, I probably need you to do homework with the kids. I probably need you to pick them up from school. I probably need you to cook dinners more often than me or something to feel that balance. And I think like rethinking that for ourselves in this generation and in generations to come is going to be wildly important for the success of relationships and marriages, because women have to, who are out earning, they have to maintain the respect for the men that they want in their lives.
And that's a big part of it. That's a huge part of it.
And the man has to contain his ego.
Yes. Both.
So I don't know. I don't have the answers to this question, but it's an interesting one to talk about.
Definitely.
So please chat with us about it in the comments. And maybe we can come with some ideas that we haven't come up with on our own.
I agree with my wife. If you know someone, or if it could be you out there who maybe have this dynamic in place where you're the woman and you out earn your husband, share that in the comments. Let us know how that's working for you and how he accepts this and how you're still respecting him. Let us know, because I do know that it can be done, but ego has to come out of the equation.
Yeah. Check your ego and your attitude.
Yes.
So, like we said, let us know in the comments, like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.